Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dean Mon, and I want to thank everybody for being here. I have to share with you that as a past chairman of the New Jersey State Build PAC for about 3 years, and having now, as I have been for many years, serving on the National PAC, I am very aware of the importance of our advocacy efforts. And I'm very well aware of what it brings to each of our businesses that allows us to really be more profitable and to keep building. So we thank you for your participation this afternoon. And as a good friend of mine once said, we have to give to the PAC. We have to give to the PAC, and we have to keep giving to the PAC, because it is very important. We all know that our advocacy efforts are very strong at the national level, and we're very pleased today to have with us two of the gentlemen that are leading that effort. First, we're going to hear from Greg Peak, who's the President Chairman of Build PAC. Greg is a former Federal Government Affairs Chairman. He's sat on a lot of committees, and he's also obviously the Chairman of the PAC for this year. Greg is a fighter, and I've served with him on a lot of committees, and we're very pleased that all the way from Reno, Nevada, he's taking time out to come speak with us. Without further ado, Greg.
Good afternoon, I believe. I don't even know what time it is. My name is Greg Peak. I'm from Nevada. I'm a third generation multifamily builder. We build apartments in Nevada. I've been involved with NAHB for about 10 years. And really, my main reason for joining NAHB is because it helps me articulate the needs of my business. It helps protect my business. And when I sat downstairs and listened to the board meeting today, I was reminded of how great it is when people come together from, in this case, all over New Jersey and have the same interests in mind. And it was really refreshing to hear that you guys are growing your membership again. There was such tremendous excitement downstairs. I was very happy to hear that, and it was just a real refreshing piece of information for me to have going back to Nevada, which has been devastated by this economy. We haven't built since 2008. We're about ready to break ground on a 40-unit apartment complex in June, so I'm pretty excited. We're back. Okay, so on behalf of the Build PAC officers and staff, I want to thank you in this room that contributed to Build PAC. I know that most of you in here have already contributed. Well, most of you understand the importance of Build PAC and NAHB advocacy efforts. Many of your fellow members do not, and I'm asking for your help on that today. What does NAHB do? Primarily two things. One's education. It helps you build a better house. It helps you reach out to your customers. It helps you market. It teaches you, it helps you understand how to do that. But the other thing is advocacy. We advocate judicially in the courts. We advocate regulatorily at the EPA, at OSHA, and also at Capitol Hill. And I'm here to ask you to help with the Capitol Hill standpoint for things. Why is this important? A lot of people ask me, Greg, why do I need to give to Build PAC? It doesn't do anything for me. Let's talk about that for a moment. And this is where I need your help. How do we connect these issues with the guy who's working out of his pickup truck? Let's talk about wetlands real quick. You know, the EPA and the Corps of Engineers, they wanted to call any puddle that a duck swam in, any mud puddle, a wetland. It was NAHB that filed the lawsuit that protected that. It was called the Rapanos decision, to put back some sanity in the wetlands issue. And NAHB has been fighting to keep the Rapanos decision intact and to make sure that we have a reasonable definition for wetlands. It's because of Build PAC that we've done that. Let's talk about immigration. Where I'm from in Nevada, we need a workforce. We don't have a workforce anymore. And we need reasonable immigration reform that is legal, that allow people to come to this country to work and to do our trade. We need immigration. I don't know how it is here, but that's definitely how it is. Jim's going to talk about flood insurance today. People across the country, including in Nevada, are getting huge flood insurance premium increases, massive. That's being debated on the Senate floor, and I assure you, I just got off of a conference call 10 minutes ago, well, 10 minutes before this started, talking about whether or not we were going to key vote that, and NAHB is actively involved with that. Mortgage interest deduction. How many of your customers need the mortgage interest deduction to buy their house? If some in Congress had their way, that would disappear. It was NAHB that literally took that issue and pushed it back. It was NAHB that stopped that. We don't really hear much about that anymore. Let's talk about financing. How many of your customers can pay a 20% down payment? If some in Congress had their way, you would have to put 20% down on your house. That was actually a proposal that was floated by the White House and some in Congress. It was NAHB that beat that back. So it's not just the legislation that we pass, it's also the bad legislation that we stop. And we all know there's a lot of bad legislation out there. I was tickled at the presentation earlier about your state. At your state level, you had something like 8,000 bills, but only 500 became law. Think about all the pieces of bad legislation that you stopped. It's the same at the federal government. We have the right story. We just have to be able to tell it. And unfortunately, and this is just the way it is, we need the influence. And in Washington, sometimes influence equals money. NAHB used to be one of the top 5 largest PACs in the country. We had over a $4 million PAC at one point in time. That was in 2008. In 2010, we were just half of that at $1.9 million. Right now, we are on track to get back to $2.75 million this Congress. And thank you very much to Mary. I'm going to do this. Caporaso. And Tom Troy, who today became the newest Gold Key members. I very much appreciate your generosity and your understanding of that. But it's not just the dollars, and this is what I'm here asking you to do. It's not just the dollars. Yeah, $4.2 million is a lot of money. $2.75 million is a lot of money. But also, we want to go back and tell them that we represent 150,000 businesses. We represent 15%, 20% of the GDP. And we can only do that if we have the names and we have the voices. So if it's just $20, if it's just $100, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, ask your subs, your other associates. And you can't really ask your employees, but you might want to suggest it to them. $20. We need those names, and we need to be able to say we have 100,000 people behind this key vote letter. We need you to do that activity. So we have the right story, and we need to do that. So, folks, it was great listening to it downstairs, and I truly believe this. We're coming back, and we're roaring back, and we need everybody on deck and everybody rowing the boat in the same direction. As the chairman of Build PAC, we've taken it upon ourselves to go out and outreach and help states, all states, conduct events like this. And I will tell you that all 50 states are rowing in the same direction. So we have great momentum. It's because of people like you. So please, again, thank you for being here. I know that everybody in this room has already contributed. Please reach out and help us take that message out. I doubt you have any questions, but I'm happy to field any questions that you might have. Well, I want to thank Mike Trappell for putting this together. I want to thank my friend Dean Mon. He's going to make a hell of a third vice chairman. And your help here today helps Build PAC. It's going to help Dean get elected. I squarely support Dean. And thank you, everybody. It's a real honor to be here, and thank you very much.
All right, I think we need to understand that Greg flew in yesterday. I picked him up from the airport around 5 o'clock, and when he leaves here in about an hour, he's going to head back to Philadelphia to get on the plane back to Reno, Nevada.
He's not safe for Super Bowl.
Here's a man with 2 young kids that is dedicating some of his personal time to help us all. And as he just said, the battles that we face, that are facing us, and we have the judicial, regulatory, and legislative fronts, and we need a strong advocacy effort. And I can think of no better man. And I tell you, I know this man. I served with him when I was Federal Government Affairs Chairman to lead our effort in the Hill to lead what I consider to be the best lobbying team on the Hill than Jim Tobin. Jim?
Thank you, Dean. That's very, very kind. I appreciate it. I feel like Mussolini up here, so. Don't.
YouTube.
First, let me say thank you to all of you and echo the comments that everybody so far about you coming here today, spending an extra hour with us, opening your wallets, more importantly, and what are still at tough economic times for the good of the industry. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Dean. I want to thank Mike. I want to thank Lenny Sandelsky, who isn't here. I've been with NHB for now over 15 years, and I'm pretty sure that Lenny was probably the first meeting I ever attended, a government affairs meeting, and someone who's been very influential in my career in NHB, and someone that I miss. I was hoping I'd get a chance to see him today and just talk to him one more time if I don't get a chance to see him next week in Las Vegas. But for those of you who will see Lenny sometime over the next couple of weeks, please tell him I extend my regards. He's a great guy, and I certainly miss seeing him on a regular basis. So I also have the blessing and the curse of having three former federal government affairs chairmen here with me: Greg Peak, Mike Fink, and Dean Mon. So guys who've helped me chart the course for the association over the last several years. And so when Mike asked me to come up and speak to you all, he kind of gave me a laundry list of things to talk about. And I think one of the things that Mike wants me to talk about and try to get across to you is so what's the value of what we're doing here today? Greg did a great job of really encapsulating how important it is for our industry to have a strong PAC. And as Greg said, until they change the campaign finance laws, money runs the campaigns in this country. And it's important for us as an industry to elect pro-housing candidates to Congress. And that's why we have a large board of PAC trustees who evaluate members of Congress. Your own delegation gets vetted 3 times a year whether or not they deserve to be reelected to Congress with the help of the National Association of Home Builders Build PAC. I'm happy to say that you've got a pretty good darn delegation. I think I looked at your Build PAC grades, and I think you're right around A's and B's. You've got some really influential members of Congress. Right now, we're working very closely with Senator Bob Menendez on flood insurance legislation. For those of you who know, no doubt you know about it probably better than I do, the impacts of the Bigger Waters flood insurance legislation or law that came into effect a couple of years ago. The devastating impact it's had on your buyers, your businesses, and other businesses across the state as they have seen these exorbitant rates in flood insurance. But one of the things we've dedicated ourselves since pretty much after the day after the law was passed was trying to fix it. It sounds very awkward to say that, but we've been trying to fix that bill, and we are very close to doing that. It's I think Dean said or Greg said, it's on the floor today in the United States Senate. I'm hopeful by the end of the week that we'll have wrapped up Senate consideration of it. But the main thing is that it's going to at least let your folks, your customers, put off for at least 4 years these exorbitant flood insurance increases. We've heard many stories about people getting to the closing table and finding that their flood insurance rates have gone up from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars, and people had to walk away from the closing sale. People can't sell their homes because the flood insurance rates are going to go up immediately when the next purchaser of that home. So it's a real life impact. If it wasn't for you all and thousands of people, millions of people across the country banging on their legislators day in and day out about this problem, we wouldn't be where we are today, which is an ability to fix this law, get it pointed in the right direction. Yes, we need a strong flood insurance program, but what we don't need is an inaffordable flood insurance program, and that's what we're trying to fix. You know, one of the things that we try to do is try to meld. Okay, so what do your PAC dollars do? They come into Washington D.C. They flow back out to our trustees where they deliver the checks, where they decide if they want to give money to your federal candidates. But what's the nexus, right? Okay, you probably all get what I get to do with the PAC dollars. I get to go visit these members of Congress. It opens the doors a whole lot easier for me and the staff at NHB to talk to your legislators about the issues. There's a reason why Senator Menendez is such a good friend of ours. One of it is because Dean Mon's got a great personal relationship with him, and the grassroots that is represented in this room. But it's in the great issues that we have, and having a friend like Bob Menendez who understands our issues, understands housing, understands what an engine of the economy it is. But it's also that we've put our money